Okay, this isn't going to be the best tutorial or video ever made, so bear with me. I don't know exactly what you guys are trying to do with the North Grapeland Heights node. I know that the theme is pirates and all that, and I've sort of been reading what's in the hidden channel on Discord, but I'm not sure exactly what you want the future to be. And I was thinking data analysis is always a good thing to have if the data is available. And there are some things you're going to be able to do and some things you can't do. Even if you were to become developers, there's still a lot of stuff that you would have to ask UPLand to create an API for if you're trying to do something specific. And the likelihood of them doing that is pretty much zero. I'm not a developer, and I can only do the same things you can do. And so if you ask me, like how many cannons are on people's properties, that kind of stuff isn't available to me or you, or it may be available to somebody who's a developer. I really don't know. But there is, like, the UPXLand website is a source of data that you could use to do certain things, and I'm going to show you how that could be done easily. Obviously, in the property search, you could search for Miami, and then North Grapeland Heights, and we're not worried about collections. You want all properties, and again, I'm not signed in for this. I think you can do this with a free account. I do have a UPXLand account, but if I start handing out data that I've paid for free, they're going to get upset. We're not worried about structure. You could look at FSA or non-FSA, but I'll show you that's not important at the moment. I'm just going to leave mint price and so on. So just search. As an unpaid member of UPXLand, you only have the ability to display 200 entries at a time. They do show that you can get up to 200 2,000 in total, and there's less than 2,000 properties in North Grapeland Heights. And if you load more and just continue to load more, you'll end up with the total number of properties, I believe. The other thing you would want to do is if you haven't done this before, I'm pretty sure you may have, but check all the boxes that you want data from. And really, we don't need collections for the example I'm giving, or who the owner is, or if it's in Upland Kingdoms. I don't even know if that exists still. So I've checked all the boxes that I think are relevant. And then you would, once you've loaded all of the pages, you keep loading more until there's no load more, and then you can export to Excel. Once you've done this, I've already done it, I'm not going to do it again. It'll take a few seconds, but once you have the Excel file, and that's this, you basically will have some of the data that was listed on UPXLand. When they create the Excel file, they don't give you everything, unfortunately. I've asked them about that before, and they said, well, it's not in the works. And I asked, well, I'm a paid member, and they said, don't care. So I don't know what the new owners are going to do, whether they're going to change things or not. We've been told that UPXLand will pretty much stay the same, but just get better. So it's possible that we'll end up with more data than what we're getting now, but I don't really know for sure. If you do use Excel and not like Google's Sheets, you do have the ability to use Google. And if you have the 365 Office package, which I do, if you were to use the Analyze Data button, you can then get AI to help you capture any data you want pretty much from this sheet. And it's pretty simple. It just brings up an Analyze Data window, and from here you can ask a question about your data. So one question I asked was, I just typed in how many properties, or sorry, I had to say how many addresses, because that's what it's called. Yeah, it says how the column's called how many addresses does each owner have, and the result was this sheet. So it goes you owner or number of addresses per owner, and so you can quickly see who's got what. You could also get it to list all of the properties or addresses that each person has. You can pretty much anything you can think of asking it. If you ask it correctly, it will give you the data. So I thought I'd take it one step further, because this is kind of like each of us could do this if we have the Excel program. Only one of us needs to have the 365 thing, or it doesn't matter how many people are in it. I could share this information. And like I showed you on UPXLand, I don't have to be signed in to get this data, so they're providing this for free. So there's no conflict of interest there. The next thing I did was think that this data is kind of clumsy for someone who's, let's say, on the bus or sitting at the kitchen table without a computer. It's hard to see this. Everybody has their phone on them now. So why not make an interface that you could see this data on your phone? And that's what that other program that I use, Glide, is. That's what it's all about. So this is what the Glide version of this would look like. It's basically just accessing the Excel spreadsheet. It's not doing anything complicated. It's just basically doing the same thing the AI program was doing, but for your phone. And so I've created a couple of pages. One's properties, and this lists all properties in the Excel spreadsheet. You can I can change this data to anything you want, but I'm basically thinking that the address is the important thing. And then I've shown what the mint price of each property was, and whether it's owned, and whether it's an FSA property. And obviously there's a lot of data, so I was kind of split it up into 50 addresses per page. It could be split up into anything, but I just chose 50. You could also search for an address if you're looking for something specific. You can click through each one, and it'll give you more information about that property. And this is, again, just a sample of what's available. Whatever's in the Excel spreadsheet, that's what it can tell me. And so the other thing was the owners, the number of properties per owner that I created in the Excel spreadsheet. I can then look at that in here as well. So you can straight away see you have 447 properties still unminted. And if you wanted to click through that, it'll show you what they all are, and if they're unlocked or locked, or what their mint price is and where they are. For each person that has properties, you can click through and see what the property is. And we could even go one more click through step and find out when you bought it and how much you paid and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought this is enough for what most people would like. And again, like I said, if it's not in UPXLand, if the data isn't there, we pretty much can't get that data unless one of us magically becomes a developer. There's no way to access specific things without it being on the blockchain, and even then I don't have the ability to search the blockchain for anything. Like, I don't know how that's done. At best, I can just use the API calls that UPLand gives us, which is not accessing the blockchain, it's accessing UPLand's data. The two things are separate. Not all information is kept on the blockchain. Some of it is just UPLand's stuff. And so if they haven't created an API call for it, no one can get it. And there are some APIs that they have listed that are generic that everybody can access, but whether or not they remain there is another question. They've already created some and then taken them away. Some things that I actually liked using are now gone. They may have moved them to the developer section. I don't know for sure. And the other thing is that developers will never tell you what an API is because they need a specific key to access that data. And obviously, if they give you the key, then you have access to all of their data. So they're not going to do that. So each time I talk to somebody who is a developer, they're very cagey about what they're trying to, or what they're going to tell me, because they think it's a secret. I don't need their key. I just want to know what I can do and what I can't do as a developer. And I've, like I said in the past, I've applied several times, and now I always get like no response. So I've given up on that. But this is what could be done with what is already available. So if there are things that you would like to know and you would like them to be, handy on your phone. So anyways, that's just something I thought, if you guys were interested in this, I can do this. I do pay for this program in real life. I'm not making any money from any of the projects that I have at the moment. And again, I think I said this with the racing app that I made, that if it becomes too popular, like if we had, let's say, 100 people using this, I would then start getting charged for it. Extra money, not just the money I'm already paying. So those are the things I couldn't afford to do. So if you like this idea, we can keep it going, but no more than, let's say, a limited number of people, let's say 10 or 20 or whatever. Nothing extravagant. And I know you want to keep the head of the organization, whatever you want to call it, to a minimum number so that, there aren't too many people trying to make decisions all at the same time. But anyways, this is just an example of what I thought could be done if you want to analyze data.